Load. Greetings and welcome, everyone who gets to watch this, to the second session for the UAttest Partner Training. Today, we're going to go into a very important concept, and we're going to show features that relate to the concept. We're going to go to two features that are related to the concept of continuous compliance. The first feature is, well, if you have continuous compliance, show me UAttest a way to use your product that I can schedule this product every year, every quarter, every week, every month, however you want to. That's exactly what it can do. Yours truly is going to handle that. The documentation for all of this, of course, is in the partner training, which is in the chat room, and they'll show up on the recording. And of course, you can ping us at partners@uattest.com and we'll direct you to it. Okay. Very relevant. I'm going to do that section. Then second, Kashyap is going to go through state and time, which is a really important continuous compliance concept of taking a snapshot today and then taking a snapshot 90 days from now. And then instead of grinding ourselves, trying to understand what has changed, UAttest does that grinding work and then outputs that information. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I am going to be, and first of all, Ashley, am I showing my screen where it says UAttest to GUI?
No.
Okay, let me do that. And let me first of all turn off my alerts on this screen, and then I'll share my screen. Okay. So continuous compliance, just to while this is coming up and changing this, continuous compliance is the concept. And we Ashley and I were at the GRC show and heard a lot of talk about it. Whereas the concept that enterprises no longer can afford to just do the Chinese fire drill and say, oh, it's November or it's February, I better get my SOC 2 out. It is a concept of keeping your controls constantly up to date and then taking those controls, the evidence of those controls, and applying it to your different guidances. So you can comply with the with everything from PCI DSS. You can comply with SOC, SOC 2, HIPAA, HITRUST, with the same evidence that we're ongoing. Okay, very good. Let me this time actually share my screen and we'll get started. Share screen is going to be the one. And share. And am I sharing my screen now, Ashley?
Yep, we see the GUI.
You see the GUI. Okay, I'm going to start by a little refresh, and this is in session 1. I'm going to start with a little refresh on how to create a policy, straight up. And then we're going to use that policy, and I'll talk you through the policy or whatever. I'm going to create a SOX application report. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that by creating an audit right here, okay? I'm going to create an app audit. The V3 GUI is really obvious. App, group, user. We're going to go into the Azure Active Directory. That could have been to Okta. That could have been to some other resource. Call this Finance 0902B, because I ran one this morning. Set the date that I want this thing done. It's a quick app. And hit next. Real important. I got a nice list of the applications. Okay. I'm going to hit done. What is going on right now? UAttest in the cloud is using its SAML connection into a resource. In this case, it's Azure AD. It could be Jump Cloud. It could be Okta. It could be another resource or whatever APIs. It's going into the resource and pulling out the metadata. That is what? That's the applications. That's the groups. That's the roles. That's the users. And this is information that the admin doesn't have to do. The UAttest does it itself. It pulls it into the GUI. Now, really important to understand, that's half of the equation. It's half of the work. It's about 5% of the actual work, because what is done is once UAttest has done this work, what you'll see then is that these audit reports get pushed out to actual managers and reviewers. So the first step is that you create the attestation. Okay, that's what the risk manager does. The second step is the risk manager goes in there and then determines how the heck do we actually want to do this process. Okay. And what this process usually is something like an auto delegation, where we go into the resource, and you can tell it's done because I got a 1 here and it showed up. I go into this resource, and then watch what I do. I just literally click this button. This is very advanced, very strong, and this is something you should be emphasizing in your calls, is we do an auto delegate. And what that's doing is taking UATest understands from its ability of APIs, pulled from the AAD all the information, then it understood who the managers are, so the managers themselves are doing the delegation. What you literally just heard in the background was my manager, who have our council up here. I'm not going to go through it. We went through this in length in our other session 1, but here is the manager, okay? And you'll see his inbox. He just literally got an auto delegation telling this person, YA manager. Oh, this is the wrong one. Oh, I got too many windows up. Sorry about that. Yeah, here it is. There's YA manager. And they got a delegation and an email. Look at this thing right there. Okay. Literally in real time, I got an email right here. And that person literally just clicks this and goes straight into our application GUI and is able to do a attestation of those users. Very, very powerful stuff. Okay. All right. Now that was remediation. That was helping you guys understand the product, all that. Let me go to what is continuous compliance. Continuous compliance is Garrett. That was all, man. You did that once. Let's take that policy that we just created and let's create a schedule around it. Okay, here it is. That's what I was just ready to do and do it in manual. That's what session 1 was. Let's create a policy. That policy is, I can create a schedule. And you did that by going to the policy right here. There's your application audits. Here it is, Finance 0902B. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit click schedule. Real clean, real easy. Let's do it quarterly. Okay. Let's start the date. Heck, let's get them started on the 2nd. Okay. Since the Mondays is okay. And I'm going to keep doing it quarterly. Got it? And let's kick this off at 8:30 in the morning. This is just kind of obvious, whatever stuff you want to do. Okay. Make that stick. Okay, see that stuck? Now, real important here. How do I want to do that? What I want to do is I want to give it to a user's manager. Just how I did the auto delegation before. Real powerful feature. Okay. And I just hit save. Now, what's relevant? Right there. The audit is scheduled. You want to have play with this, do it in real time. Put it like 5 minutes ahead and go turn it on a TV or put it on a YouTube video, and you'll see in 5 minutes you'll get a delegation email. Real important if you want to look at it and modify it. Right now, you see it's enabled. To deactivate that, all you would do is click the enable, slide that over, and hit update. That's it. That's all there is to scheduling reports. And that's where you should be telling your customers and telling your partners, et cetera, that this is a product that not only is a one-time usage, but it's designed for continuous compliance. All right, let's do something a little more advanced, and that's where we'll bring out an SE. Kashif, why don't you take it away and do a state and time.
Sure, thanks, Garrett. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. Let me know when you can see it, please. Do you have the screen?
We have the screen. We have liftoff, Houston.
Right. So the part I'm going to cover here is the state and time feature that UATest has when it comes to the CSV audits, right? So say if you have single or multiple siloed applications and you get the data, user and groups, onto a CSV file and create an audit, and you give it a name. We have gone through how to create a CSV audit, but just to give you a refresher, this is where you come in and name the CSV audit, select the date, and then you choose that file that you have downloaded or exported from that application. Once the file is there, you will map the fields and the headers that you have on CSV file to what you have on the UATest side of things. And once the mapping is done, this will be the result. The Finance X was the application. So let's assume there were 1,000 users, right? Now, down the road, I mean, 3 months or 1 month or 90 days, whatever you want to call it, you want to create the same audit once again to review those users, those, that CSV file, but you want to save time at the same time. How? Because not all the 1,000 users will have a changed status over 90 days or something. Maybe few of those users would have been, removed from the organization or from that list, or maybe few new ones may have joined that application or may have got access to it. So it makes sense to do the access review or do the attestation just for the change instead of going through all the 1,000 users once again after 30 days. So that's what State in Time provides. What you do, you have this Finance X created, this audit is here. Now what you want to do, you want to create a comparison campaign by uploading the CSV file from the same application and telling the system to compare that file with this campaign here and see what the delta is, so that you can do the attestation just for the change instead of the whole file. How we do that? All you have to do is create new audit, and I'll show you the step that is different from creating an audit as compared to creating a comparison campaign. So I'll just name it Finance, let's say X2, just to distinguish the two different files, and select the date as usual. Okay, now for your reference, we have saved those files. Garrett must have shared the link with you, and it's in the Google Drive. So these are the two files. If you can see my screen, could you please acknowledge, Garrett? Do you see the drive? Okay.
Yeah, and I will reshare it in this drive, and I'll give you everyone that has the emails. That is the partner training materials. This is session 2. There's a separate directory for data. Perfect.
Yeah. So these are the two files, the first one and the last one. So what Finance X represents is this file over here that says original State in Time. That was used to create the first audit, which I mean, let me show you, which is this one here that says Finance X. This is the file we are going to compare it with. And the second file here is the comparison state, which you are uploading after like 90 days or so, just to compare with the first one. So these are the two files you're going to be using for this audit to create a demo. I hope that makes it clear. And now let's just go back and create the comparison campaign, which was Finance X2. Date is say 16, and choose the file. I have downloaded the file here, so I have already created an audit using the original State in Time file. Now I'll just upload the comparison State in Time file here to compare it with the first one. Now the next one is the mapping, right? So I have created the template. I'll just go ahead and select one of the saved templates to auto-populate all these fields here. And maybe I'll just put in manager's email, it's important. Now here, instead of creating the audit right away, which will create, another audit instead of a comparison campaign, you need to check this little box here that says run a comparison campaign, which is right next to saving the mapping template. Once it's checked, now you click on create a campaign, and it will show you a different window where it will ask you to, source the audit selection. So what is the source that I want to compare this audit with? So my source is Finance X that I have already created like 90 days ago or 30 days ago. So I'll select that campaign. What do I want to see? What do I want to compare in that campaign or the file I'm uploading today? I want to see the changes in user status. If someone has been added or someone has been removed from that file, just show me that, and I'll just click Create an Audit Review Changes.
And those
What it
buttons that
does-
said roles change, is that like groups? When it says roles changed in the last screen?
Yeah, I mean, if there are role changes in group or in the user audit, or something has changed, you know, within that application, somebody got promoted, and he
Nice.
should or should not have access to it, then you will select that as well. So if there is a role change comparing with the original file, it will also pop up in the new campaign.
Very powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, so now the new audit, instead of showing you a simple regular campaign like this one here, it shows you a campaign with a hover mark here. If you hover over it, it will show you the information that it was the source audit was Finance X that was used to create this audit to compare it with, and it also stamps it as a state and time audit. So you know it's a comparison campaign that you're running against a certain campaign within this list. So once you go in there, I just want to show you something here. The file I've used, the difference between the two files will be this. This is the original file for Finance X, right? Now, there are 3 users, ID 3, 4, and 7. In the second file we uploaded for comparison, you will see a difference that ID 3 is still here. It's common in both the files, but ID 4 and 7 have been removed and replaced with ID 5 and 6. So there should be, in the campaign, there should be 2 users removed from that that list, and 2 new users should have been added to that list. So let's see if that happened in that campaign that we've just created. Let's go into that. And you see ID 3 is not here because there is no change in the status of that ID. Nothing has changed for that. So it has omitted, it has excluded that user from the campaign. It has only included the users that involve some kind of change. So you will see the change here. This user was removed from the application. This user was also removed from the application, but 2 new users have been added to the application, which is part of this campaign. Now it's up to the risk manager or the reviewer to decide what do you want to do with these. Do they want to revoke access who've been removed from the application and certify the access whoever has been added to the application, the newcomers, or do we want to just go ahead and auto delegate or do manual delegation for that, so that someone else who is more relevant could do the attestation and do the access review? So that's what has saved a lot of time, assuming that it had 1,000 users, and instead of going through all those records, you're only going through 4 of them, because that's where the change was, and not all the users. Right, Garrett? Anything else you would like to comment on?
I think this pretty much defines 2 key features for continuous compliance. One is scheduling, and second of all is constant updates, constant acknowledgement and attestation of role and user changes, but done in a quantifiable way. So the way this product should be looked at is something that we get in-house, knock off that scheduled compliance, but we use it continuously with the scheduling and with the state and time.
Right.
I think that's what we do. Happiness. And remember, y'all, just write us at partners@uattest.com and we'll answer any questions. All right, there's enough of the recording of this.